Alrighty, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, November 7th, 2023. Market has been a little bit lackluster here for the last day and a half, which is why this morning's broadcast is probably going to be pretty quick. So if we were to zoom out and look at what's happened here, maybe the 3-minute would be a good chart to look at. Here's the market for the last week, week and a half, right? We've just been pushing and pushing and pushing. And then coming into this week, especially Friday too, Friday had this really nice push out to push to these new highs. Remember, the high of Friday was 2 ticks from our next expected resistance at the swing there around 92.5. So we pushed right to our next expected resistance, and then we pulled back. And then here, for the last 24, 36 hours, the market has literally just chopped around in like a 25, 30 point range. Okay. Now the cool thing about it, the thing that really kind of freaks me out when I come back and look at all this stuff, is that the high of this chop was our swing. The low of the chop and the low of yesterday was our scaffolding level. We were off by 2 ticks. And then just around the bifurcation of those 2 major levels was our other scaffolding level here. And if you look at what happened, I mean, the major rotations in the market were either right around the scaffolding level in the middle of the range, and then the bottom of the range is the scaffolding, the top of the range is the swing. So in my opinion, absolutely amazing. Before we ever came up here, and let's move this over, these are the 3 levels we had. 1, 2, and 3, and then you look, the market came right up into it and literally just chopped back and forth between it. And then again, the bifurcation where our scaffolding was right where we got these pretty notable rotations here. And now here we are in the overnight session coming into this morning. And again, that middle scaffolding level is right where the market came to yesterday in the overnight session and pulled back nearly to the tick. And now you can see right now, the market is coming up into it, pulling back. In fact, just a couple minutes ago, we came right back to it, rejected, right back to it, rejected. And now you can see the market attempting to stay up above VWAP here and maybe push back up to the top end here, right? So nothing has changed since yesterday, right? We have not broken out of the last hour or two of Friday's price action there. Again, even on Friday, that pullback came right down into this scaffolding here, pushed right up. Again, the high of Friday right to that level. So, and then there's the bifurcation right there where we pulled back and then held this literally 3 times nearly to the tick. So I don't know, just pretty cool stuff if you ask me. So let's do a quick review on the shortest time frame. Like I said, yesterday was pretty choppy, pretty sideways, pretty balanced, whatever you want to call it. So let's go back and take a look here. So market open, and actually maybe what I should do is pull up our report here. What a rip. Still not much lining up for the bears coming into this week, except for that potential bearish signal on the daily. Now, in order for that to really be something we wanted to hang our hats on, we wanted to see it break down through 50% of the previous day. That would be our first clue. And then get down below the previous daily low, Friday's low, right? If the bears can get down through here, we've got levels we want to look at. And then on the flip side, if the bulls do push higher, we've got our contention levels, and we had some medium retracement levels if the market did pull back coming into this week, right? I also added 44.95 up top. That's going to be a very, very important level to get through, in addition to all the other things that we have on our chart. So really, I mean, if the synopsis of all this is, the market was still very strong. We had just one potential bearish signal on the daily, but we needed to see the bears get through 50% of the previous day as our first clue. So coming into yesterday, here we are. As you can see, the market was never able to get back to the high of Friday there, failed. And if you guys recall in the chat room here, see if I can pull that up somewhere here. So up in the chat, remember yesterday I said, where is it? That was a big rejection at about 10:15 Eastern. So we came up, peaked in, and then that was it. It fell out. And what I was really seeing up here And I'm taking my time this morning because, again, there's nothing has really changed, nothing new to add to our picture here. So I'm just going to elaborate on yesterday's really major thing that I saw. And there's the high of yesterday now, right? We pushed right up, and this is what I saw on my chart. This major wick up on the 3-minute chart. And then when I went up to my 60-minute chart and my 30-minute as well, that's what I saw. So from that high, right out of the open, I saw this huge wick to the upside on the 60-minute chart, and we were slow at 10. I remember I released that at 10, so we were still basically right inside of this 11 a.m. candle. So that huge wick on the 60-minute, I saw it on the 30-minute, and then on the 3-minute, this is what I saw here as well. And I told you guys that was a typical rejection type of thing you would see. So we kind of attempted to push up in, got this huge wick to the upside, and then we started to break lower. So again, 10:15 is about when I posted that, which was right when we were just kind of peeking through our scaffolding here, which was the support right out of the open, right? So I told you guys ahead of time that wasn't a good sign for the bulls, even though we did have a lot of bullish stuff in the market. And so that's that little peak up. And then you can see there were some decent parries. You know, it held the 200, but not for anything substantial, and then held the fast moving average to come down and bounce a tick in front of VWAP. So definitely some typical nice holds off of our levels. And then finally came down. So again, here is our stair step of roadmap levels. Held the 200. Again, not for a major bounce, but held it. Held the VWAP. Again, that you could have probably grabbed 5, 6, 7 points. And then came down to our next support level. Again, this was essentially a test of VWAP and the Hopel. And then we come down and bounce at our next roadmap level, only to reject off the back end of VWAP and the Hopel there. Hold the close and attempt to break out and then fail back down. And notice, like, inside of all the chop, we're still basically with our roadmap levels getting right where the major rotations in all this chop is. And so it fails. Again, it's super choppy. Yesterday was a total mess, but still kind of holding right around our general roadmap levels. And for the first 3 hours, literally from the open at 9:30 on the East Coast here, all the way till 12:30, could probably stretch this out so that we don't see that. That's literally the first 3 hours of the market. Did nothing but chop around, a total mess. So if you were sitting here watching this all morning, you probably would have been getting frustrated because nothing was happening. I probably would have walked away at that point. And then what do you know? It pulls back. And again, the low of the day yesterday was our scaffolding off by 2 ticks. Not surprising, they came right into that area. Remember, with major market scaffolding, we're talking about major support and resistance. So there is a bit of a zone of a point or two above it, point two below it. Right in there is exactly where you would expect to see some type of response. So we hold, and then again, just chop around, right? So nothing substantial happened yesterday outside of holding some of our key levels for the high and low of the day. And then basically petered out right at the end of the day here, right around VWAP and the scaffolding. Once again, I mean, this scaffolding is just non-stop relevant, no matter where we are. And holds, pulls back, holds the 200 for the push at the end of the day, pushing right back up into the middle of the range. Okay, so now here we are coming into the open today, and what do you know? Price is right there at 50% of yesterday's price range. Okay, so nothing has changed here. Our pre-market is going to be very quick when we move into it here in a few moments. And as you can see, nice holds. Once again, that 43.78 quarter has been a real move for multiple days inside of all this chop. If you bought it, you would have captured major rotations on the intraday time frame. If you sold it, at least over in here, and then today in the overnight session, barely any risk, and you would have captured these large pushes lower. And now you can see right now we're trying to get up through it and maybe hold the FMA here to balance out. Okay, so that concludes our review for the last say 24 hours. And let's go ahead and talk about what's happening here this morning. Like I said, not really much new to add to the picture. So we'll pull up the higher time frames here.